Memorial Day began on May the 30th, 1868, known at the time as Decoration Day. It was designated by General John A. Logan, and it was set aside for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in the defense of their country during the late rebellion. And those bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet courtyard of the land. This was done to honor the fallen of the Civil War. Decoration Day took on new meaning after World War I and the wars that followed. Decoration Day remained on May 30th until 1971, when Memorial Day was officially signed into law, making a federal holiday the last Monday in May every year. Memorial Day over the years has meant a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some, it's a 3-day weekend marking the beginning of summer or the end of a school year. For others, it's a cookout or a sale at the used car lot. And even for some, it's the opportunity to participate in the Murph Challenge workout to see if they can beat their time of the previous year. Growing up, I remember the meaning of Memorial Day evolving as I matured. As a young Boy Scout, I remember going to the cemetery to place flags on the graves of veterans, and then collecting those flags and properly disposing of them. I remember walking the Memorial Day parade with the local American Legion post and seeing these old, crusty Vietnam vets in their olive drab uniforms. The thought of seeing those men as old makes me laugh today, because I'm currently the same age as many of those vets who I once thought were old and crusty. As I got older, my participation on Memorial Day changed, once again as I marched in the parade as a member of the high school marching band. We played a medley of various military marches. It gave me a sense of pride that we were honoring the history of America's fighting men and women. We would stand silently in the cemetery and listen to speeches and prayers commemorating the day, then finish the ceremony with a solemn song followed by taps, then march quietly out of the cemetery. Yet I still don't think I knew the true purpose or meaning of Memorial Day. I then joined the Army and still didn't know the true meaning of the day. I remember one day I was working at a checkpoint in Fort Bragg in 2001. An old man and his family came to visit. They brought us some food and some coffee I can't quite remember. The old man shook the hand of every member of my squad. He told us that he served in the Korean War. He then looked at each of us with tears in his eyes and said, "I love you guys." I shook his hand and said thank you, still not knowing the meaning of the day. I went on to serve multiple combat tours in Iraq. I lost several friends. I even spoke at the memorial service for the man who served as my machine gunner. Yet, I still did not fully comprehend the meaning of Memorial Day. I was young and refused to let the gravity of everything I'd experienced sink in. I remember the day that it hit me. I hadn't been home for long, and one of my friends, a fellow veteran, invited me to his hometown for the Memorial Day parade. We stood on the sidewalk of this small town and watched the parade pass by, then followed it to a cemetery for a short memorial. We stood in the cemetery and listened to the keynote speaker, a full-bird colonel in the Army Reserves who was about to retire. While giving his speech, he talked about his various assignments, and he listed desk job after desk job. Not once did he serve in combat. I was angry. It was that moment that the true meaning of Memorial Day hit home for me. Memorial Day isn't the day we celebrate veterans. It's not a day we thank people for signing up. Memorial Day is a day we set aside for the solemn remembrance of the men and women who not only dedicated their lives to this country, but sacrificed their lives for it. These men and women didn't go out in a blaze of glory like they do in the movies. Many of these men and women spent their last moments on earth full of fear and regret. They were afraid that their friends, their brothers and sisters, would not survive the war. They regretted that they could not do more. We owe them a debt that will never fully be repaid. I've lost more friends in the last 20 years than I can count. My friend Todd died while we were in Iraq. I spent 14 days walking up and down the banks of the Tigris River looking for his body. I've had friends in a helicopter that were shot down, and their execution was broadcast on the internet. My friend Daniel Crabtree was killed in Iraq on June 8, 2006 by a roadside bomb. I was notified of his death years later when I was looking for a workout and found a CrossFit WOD named in his honor. Memorial Day, for me today, is a day that I live with the regret that I came home and so many of my friends did not. It's a day that I wish I did more to kill more of our enemies so that my friends would still be here. A few years ago, a documentary about World War I was made with colorized footage from the war. The documentary was called "They Shall Not Grow Old." No truer words have ever been spoken. With each day that passes, I continue to grow older, yet my friends do not. I still remember their faces, full of life and energy. Today is a day that I'm reminded of the debt paid for me that I can never repay.